Buonasera, everyone. We're back with another reaction video, and in this one we're going to be talking about the 10 finalists of Moldova's Etapa Nationala. My name is Ervin, and I'm joined today by Nick, Marco, and Joe. We're starting today with the song Let's Dance, performed by Victor Gulick.
So I don't know if he wanted a throwback sound or the song just sounds dated. but I kind of like his energy, and I believe he will do a quite good performance in the national final. But I'm not sure it's the right song for Eurovision. I think it's very forgettable, and in Moldova, as we know, is in the first semi-final in Eurovision, and that's the bloodbath, and I don't think this could qualify.
The first time I listened to this one was it was after quite a hard day at work. I sort of just put it on the train, like I think when the songs dropped, and it's a bit sort of feel good, but sort of feel good in like a children's television sort of way. He has sort of like I don't know if it's his voice or the fact that the backing track, you can hear the very tinny Casio keyboard in the backing track. Like, you know, it is all very early 2000s, you know, when I was watching kids TV, and his voice. So I've written down Kenneth Williams here, which is a reference nobody outside the UK is going to get. So I've also gone for Mr. Bean, which I think everyone knows about. I cannot get over his voice, which, you know, is bad enough for the studio version, but in the live, out of tune, it didn't float my boat.
Out of 10 for Let's Dance. Nick?
Let's not dance, let's go to the bar. 3.
Marco?
It's a 3 for me as well.
Joe?
Yeah, Bean's getting a 4.
I'm giving it a 2. Song number 2 is going to be Why You Play It Cool, performed by OL.
Oh my goodness, I mean, we were talking about dated in the last song. I mean, this one's from times we would never want to go back to. I mean, why you play it cool? I have no idea why she wants to play it cool, but I'm really shocked by some of these songs that managed to get forward into the finalists. I mean, obviously there's a core selection of good songs and some real dross, and this very much is in the dross category, I'm afraid, from me. She's got a horrible live voice. It's dated. I mean, there's something like rocky about it, I guess. I was trying to think of positive things to say about it, but I couldn't really think very much positive. There's nothing about the song I'd ever want to go back and listen to again. So I can't be any more positive than that. I'm sorry, OL, whatever that stands for.
I'm pretty sure OL stands for Olga, because that's the singer's name. And I actually tend to disagree with this, because I thought that this was actually really, really well sung. And also, I like the fact that this was kind of like jazzy, and we don't normally get like jazzy stuff in Eurovision, and like national finals either, like so much. So for me, this was kind of like a nice surprise. And like just to be clear, like I wouldn't be sending this to Eurovision like even in my wildest dreams. But now when I was listening to it earlier today, I thought that like the audition was actually quite nice. I quite enjoyed it. It made me move. It was, I don't know, made me relax a little bit. It wasn't bad, but like, should it somehow miraculously get to Eurovision, it would probably crash and burn. Why You Play It Cool, out of 10, Nick?
Yeah, this one needs to crash and burn. So I'm giving it a 2.
Marco?
For me, it's a 5.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm giving it a 5.
I'm also giving it a 5. We'll continue with the song Damn and Down, performed by Nördika.
So Nördika definitely strike me as the kind of band who would write an absolute banger for Eurovision and then just forget that they'd written it about 10 years ago. And that is exactly what these guys did. And I don't know why, but I just find that so funny because, and yeah, if I scroll down to my notes, yeah, I've just written here Megara and her grandparents. Like, there is such a weird vibe to this group. You know, either one of them just forgot to sing in the bridge, or one of them sang in the bridge when he wasn't supposed to. Like, one of them was wrong, like in the bridge, and I don't know which one of the older guys it was. And then you've just got like, you know, punk rock granddaughter in the middle, and it's, you know, this one's a bit pure metal over the synth rock that, you know, Squeeze Paradise gave us, which, you know, again, they had a really strong music video for that, and it was a really great song. I don't know what happened. And the other hilarious thing I wouldn't say I like about Nördika that I think should be acknowledged is the rock and roll umlaut in their name, which, you know, is a seal of approval in the metal world. You know, yeah, I have nothing more to say.
I kind of feel offended that you compare this to Megara. And like, I have to admit, like, when I was listening to the songs, I only listened to the auditions. When the music started, it got my attention immediately, but that attention like really did not last long, because as soon as the lead singer started singing, you could see the two guys standing next to her, bored out of their brains, just standing there next to the microphone stand doing nothing, and it just like looked awkward. I felt that like this could be something interesting, but the song just like lacked literally everything. It lacked vocals, it lacked stage presence, performance, power, life, everything. And it could be maybe because this was only an audition, so I will give them a little bit the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, like, if that was me performing, like, I would still give it all, regardless whether it's an audition or it's like the live final. So I'll still be looking out a little bit for this one to see like what they're gonna do on the final night. But like, my hopes are like really, really low.
Yeah, this song by Nördika, I've never seen three people look so bored in my life. The two either side of it, they couldn't wait home to get home to have their tea. For an energetic, supposedly rock song, I've never seen such, I know it's auditions, but terrible staging. They were giving me Cherry Red by Rocks and Energy in that performance. So yeah, not for me.
Let's score it out of 10 then. Nick?
I'm being generous by giving it a 2.
Marco?
I appreciate the intention, but the song is bad, so I'll give it a 2.
Joe?
I think they've probably gone to bed by now, but I'm giving it a 4.
I'm also going to give them a 4. We'll continue with the first of the 3 returning artists, and that is Aliona Moon with her song Duma.
Aliona gave a very impressive rehearsal, I thought. Obviously, she's got the experience of being through this process, having gone to Eurovision, put on a very competent and good performance there. So, yeah, I wasn't surprised she sailed through. You know, I don't like comparing songs with other songs, but I have to pick up on the similarity to 1944, which I'm just feeling in the backing track. Although 1944 has a memorable moment in the song, this one doesn't have any memorable moments in the song. It's pleasant. You know, I don't mind listening to it. I'd go back and listen to it again. But as far as a song to go to Eurovision, I just don't think it quite makes the cut. But Aliona was very polished. I'm sure she'll give an excellent performance on the night of the final. But yeah, it's just quite not good enough as a song, even though she was great.
I really like the song, but I think she needs a revamp, because at this moment it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't have that powerful moment. It doesn't have something to strike your attention. But she can sing, no doubt. We know that. The song, I believe, it was written with the war in mind, the war in Ukraine, because it sounds so like a political message, but you can't tell it's a political message. It's like a peaceful song with a peaceful message. It doesn't bother me, but something turns me off, because as Nick said, it also has that Jamala vibes, and it doesn't stick with me and has kind of no originality.
Let's score them out of 10. Nick?
Yeah, I'm going to get a very solid 6.
Marco?
It's a 6 for me as well.
Joe?
I don't really think that the sort of dream house beat this song has, it necessarily needs a moment. Like, I really like this. I'm giving it an 8.
I'll give this one a 7. We got to song number 5, which is Bade Bădișor Bădiță, performed by Surorila Osoianu. Even if I wasn't looking, I would have imagined that like there's going to be a couple of women on stage with like headscarves, dressed in like traditional clothes and singing this song, and that's exactly what I got. And when listening to this song, I was getting like loads of different kind of like ethnic elements, which were not just from Moldova, but like from some other Eastern European and even like some Central European countries, because like there were parts that like reminded me also of like Hungarian traditional music. And this was, well, interesting. It was decently sung, but the hook that it tried to have with the la 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 was getting real repetitive, and by the end of the song, it really started to annoy me. And I genuinely don't think that any countries outside of the Eastern European region and maybe some of the countries from the Central Europe region would get this, because the song doesn't have that like happy moment that Zdobši's Dub had, for example. So I believe that in case this somehow gets to Eurovision, it would get like completely lost, unfortunately.
I'm surprised you say that, because I think this could easily stand out. Because no other country will send something like this. And with 100% televoting, this will sail through the final. That's my opinion. But I was so happy when I saw them in the lineup, because I'm obsessed with them. I love them. I love their music. And I gotta say, I think I want to love this song more as I do, because it's not really my favorite. Doesn't mean I don't like it. I like it, but it's very repetitive, and I don't mind when songs are repetitive in Eurovision, because at one point you need to be memorable to remember the song. But here is a fine line between memorable and annoying, and this one tends to be very annoying at one point.
Just wondering where that sort of scale starts and finishes.
Let's go this one out of 10, Nick.
Ethnic Banger Queens robbed in 2017 with Discover Moldova. 7 from me.
Marco?
It's an 8 for me.
Joe?
I'm giving this a 7.
I'll be the hater. I'll give this a 5. We're halfway through, so let's continue with Cosmina and her song Indestructible.
I don't think I should have liked this song as much as I did. I don't know, I think watching all of those Moldova auditions probably skewed my opinions about a few of these songs, but this gave me sort of, and this is a very specific, it gave me Clara Hammerström 21 vibes, and I've forgotten the name of that song because it shouldn't be as memorable as it is, but I think because it was very, she's just a sort of she's a very competent female pop singer. The song has sort of bland but okay lyrics about I'm gonna get through this, you're not gonna take me down, I'm gonna take the crown, whatever the lyrics are. Her outfit was sort of understated and just very, very nice. There's not a lot of negative I have to say about this, to be honest. I think it was a very competent performance, and I think in a bigger arena, not in the cupboard that they have the auditions in, I think this could carry. I still don't think it's memorable enough to win, but there have been less memorable songs that have won national finals, so who knows.
Poor Clara Hammerström and her beat of Broken Hearts.
There we go.
Compare the two, I have no idea. I mean, this is one of the most bland mid-tempo songs I've ever had the pleasure of listening. Well, pleasure would be the wrong word, but you've heard these songs a million times before in national finals. They turn up 10 a penny, just there for filler. She looked bored. I was bored. I bet you were all bored, really, because I couldn't wait for it to be over. So she may be indestructible, but she's pretty unlistenable as well.
Turn that into points, Nick.
I'll give it 3 for averageness.
Marco?
For me, it's a 5.
Joe?
I think we're back on Marco's memorable annoying scale here. I've given this a 7.
I'm completely with Nick on this one. This is a 3 for me. The seventh song we're going to be discussing is going to be the show opener, and that's Donia with Red Zone.
Yeah, so I was really here for something that was actually quite boppy from this selection. To be fair, her vocal wasn't the most convincing, and obviously with the audition staging, she was very she wasn't moving around very much. It was just her and the microphone stand. She had quite an interesting look. It was like slick back hair, and I thought, there was a lot to work on in regards to the staging. Hopefully, she's moving around a lot more because the song's going to need that energy in the final. The progression in the song could have been better, I thought. It doesn't sort of keep you hooked in for the whole performance. Again, there are staging issues to overcome. But to be honest with you, given some of the other songs in the selection, it stood out to me as something that was pretty competent. I don't think I'd pick it for Eurovision. I've got another song in mind, but I'd be happy to see it in the top 3.
See, I hate to be the mean one in this video, but apparently that's going to be my role, because the only thing that I enjoyed in this song was the slight ethnic elements that it had in the verses, but even those they didn't actually manage to develop into anything. Also, I felt that Donia could not really cope with any of the long notes or any of the high notes, and both her song and her singing just sounded amateurish at best. And the whole thing, I don't know, at least to me, this just looked very uninspiring, very uninteresting, and kind of I don't know, a bad karaoke performance. But that was it. Let's go Red Zone out of 10. Nick?
Yeah, so Ervin and I are not agreeing. So the world is reset and things are good, and I'll put a 7.
Marco?
For me, it's a 5.
Joe?
Red Zone, more like congestion charge, though, given the traffic jam that nearly caused her to miss her audition. This gets a 6.
This gets a 2. Song number 8 is going to be When Love's Real, performed by Corina Ivanov.
I mean, where do we start with this one? Lifeless, lackluster, dull. I am turning into Craig Rebel Horwood right now because that song was absolute. It's sort of. The first time I listened to it, I didn't really think much of it. It's sort of it was a nice enough, sort of middling song from a 50s musical, I think. I thought, with the sort of the key change and, all that. I didn't think much of it. And then the live performance came. We got to sort of, I think the latter part of the final chorus, and all my houseplants died, and the cat ran up the curtains. And I think the most offensive thing about this song is that it finished ahead of one of my favourite songs in the auditions process, which was from Aliona Iordache, Deja Vu. I thought it was a very competent song. I didn't think it was a winner, but I thought it should have made the final, and this absolutely trounced that. And I think the funniest thing about it is that if you go and look at this on Moldova Television's YouTube channel, it is spelt When Love's Real. It's nobody cares about this one. They can't even spell it right.
It's such a filler song, and it's forgettable. It's boring. No, just no. But I gotta say, besides that voice crack she had in the end by the audition, her voice sounds good. But no, that's not the winner, Moldova.
When Love's Real, out of 10, Nick?
Oh, God, if that's love being real, I'd rather not be in love. Just putrid. 1. It's horrible.
Marco?
It's a 3 for me.
Joe?
I've given this a 2, and she can thank me for it later.
I've given this one a 3. Two to go. So let's continue with Pasha Parfeny and his song Soarele și Luna. From the very beginning of this song, it just sounded very powerful, very dramatic, and a little bit mysterious as well. And I absolutely loved how this song was put together. The arrangements of it are like super cleverly done, and each instrument comes in like literally when it's needed. I love the flute, I love the drums. Pasha sung this song amazingly, which kind of goes without saying because we've all seen him in Eurovision in Baku. And this was the first song that I saw in this competition that actually felt like a whole package. He gave an amazing performance. He totally sold the song, and it really looked and felt like Eurovision ready, and I really, really enjoyed this one.
I really love the song. I love the story he gave. It's like a love story between the moon and the sun, but with lots of symbolism from the folklore, and it's very cleverly done. I love the production. I really appreciate his singing in Romanian. I love it, but my only issue is only because I understand Romanian. I don't understand his pronunciation. It's no, but the best part is that the other people from Europe don't understand Romanian, and they could vote for it. I think this is the best option for Moldova. So I'm begging you, Moldova, please send Pasha.
I guess the phrase would be "ignorance is bliss."
Let's score Pasha's song out of 10. Nick?
I'm begging Moldova too. Please send it. It'll be one of my favourite Moldovan entries. 9 from me.
Marco?
It's a 10 for me.
Joe?
The man bun never went out of fashion. This is a 9.
I'm giving it another 9. And last but most certainly not least, we have SunStroke Project and their song Yummy Mummy.
There's a lot of chat about this song online, and generally SunStroke projects, and this will come as a surprise to no one, but I am an avid follower of SunStroke project music. As soon as it drops, I have a SunStroke project playlist, and all of their songs basically roll into, oh, hey, sexy lady, you want to go out tonight, sax comes in, second verse, sax, and then sax over sexy lady in the last verse. And I'm vibing with this. I'm enjoying it. I'm listening. I've listened to it about 100 times already, just naturally. But I think this is the sort of thing that will get people, dancing in Liverpool. Frankly, I am quite on board. The thing I will point out though is, why do they keep sending songs about mothers to Eurovision? Like, have they got some sort of Oedipal complex going on? That means they have to compete. We had Hey Mama last time, and goodness knows who's going to be brought into the equation next time. But I'm fair enough. SunStroke project. I'm enjoying it.
I've got so many mixed views on this. I love SunStroke project as well. Love both the previous entries, but we've gone from a Hey Mama to a Yummy Mummy. Really? That's just so utterly cringe. My God. How did they even come up with these lyrics? As I saw them last year in Amsterdam as well. They were fantastic. Do you know what I mean? They were probably the highlight of the night. They were, they give such great energy on stage. They're really good to watch. But this is by far the worst of the 3 songs that, if it did go, would go to Eurovision. And given that we've talked about Pasha and his song, this is by far more inferior song and performance, and I would really be disappointed, really, if it did go to Eurovision. So as much as I enjoy it in its own right, it's just not the right song this year.
Out of 10 for Yummy Mummy, Nick?
I'll give it 6.
Marco?
Rubbish, but they are good performers, so I'm giving it a 6.
Joe?
There is such a thing as good rubbish, it turns out, and it is SunStroke project, so I'm giving it an 8.
I'm going to give them a 7. As you can see, the clear favorite of the 4 of us is Pasha Parfeny, who scored 37 points, ahead of the 3-way tie for second between Aliona Moon, SunStroke Project, and Surorila Osoianu. Now, let's try and be a little bit more objective, and let's try and predict who is going to win Etapa Nationala and go on to represent Moldova in Eurovision in Liverpool. Nick?
Having seen the result of the vote, they listed the points that all 10 acts got, and SunStroke Project won. It worries me that they will, with their enduring popularity, win. So, but my head says that they will go with the right option and pick Pasha, so I will stick with Pasha.
I believe it will be a tie between SunStroke Project and Pasha, and in case of a tie, I think the jury has a lot more to say, and I believe the jury will go with SunStroke Project, so I'm afraid SunStroke Project will win.
Well, I think as of now, Pasha Parfeny has about 200,000 music video views on YouTube. Like, he's absolutely winning the streaming wars. So, I mean, you know, this year's national finals have given all sorts of results, but I'm going to say I think that will be enough to push him over the edge this time. So I think Pasha's going to do it.
I think that the final might bring a couple of surprises, and even though he did not win the auditions, I think that he might win the actual final. So my head is also telling me that it's going to be Pasha Parfeny. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to let us know in the comments down below whether you agree or whether you disagree with any of our thoughts and opinions, and to let us also know who your personal favorites are in Etapa Nationala. And subscribe to our channel to watch more reaction videos like this one, and to be up to date with all of our interviews with national final entrants as well as with Eurovision entrants. And I want to thank Nick, Marco, and Joe for joining me today, and we will see you very soon with our next reaction video. Bye, everyone.